Hello, welcome to this video where I'm going to be sharing about the book group which is coming up on the 13th of January. We had a public vote recently and that was the decider for which book we would read. It's a close run thing, but Amy got in there. So Dr. Amy Johnson with her book Just a Thought was the winner, and it's just a new book, so I'm really excited that we're going to get to read it together. I've not read it yet myself, and in fact I've got some reviews to share with you that from people who've already read it. But yeah, so the purpose of this video really is to tell you about the book group, because I know sometimes it's much easier to get it in a video than on an email or reading website pages. So I'm going to tell you today about two ways that you can engage with the book with us. One is the live group, and the second is to become a member in Patreon. So I'll talk about the live group first, and then I'll share about the Patreon group. So the live group, we meet on Thursdays at 8 PM UK time for an hour on Zoom. So obviously wherever you are geographically, if your time zone works, then that's great. But just so you know, we do already have people from Australia who have joined before and are joining again this time. We have people from the US and people from the UK, as I'd probably expect, given that's where I'm living. So we meet each week, as I say, and we read a section of the book before we come together. So for Amy's book, she's actually helped me with structuring the book group for this book, because lots of her chapters are really short, so I think it's like 30 odd chapters, so we thought we probably didn't want to have a 30-week book group. So we've made it 11 weeks, and it's going to be a few chapters a week for most weeks because they are so small, and then we've just expanded it out for part 3 of her book, because what she found with her own book group was that it just needed a bit more time on those on that section. So you come each week having read whatever we're reading for that week, and we use the time to share, we ask questions, we explore beyond what's in the book and look for where the truth is, because really that's all that we're doing in all these book groups that I run. All the books that we've read so far, and this one as well, they're all pointing us back to the truth of who we are and the truth of the simplicity of our experience when we come out of all the confusion of the mind that brings lots of complexity. It's really very simple when we come down to the principle level of things. And that's what all these book groups do, which is why this isn't just a book group. It's not just come and read a nice book. It's why people leave the book group having had actual experience shifts in their life. They actually leave feeling more settled and calmer, more connected to themselves. So it's an amazing opportunity, really. And what makes this book group even more amazing is we're getting Amy along. So she's coming on the 10th of March, which will be just after we've completed that part 3, which is the one she said we should spend more time on. Amy's going to be there so she can answer your questions, and of course that means by that point we'll have read a lot of the book, so I'm sure you'll have loads that you'd love to ask her. And she's so lovely, she's so down to earth and so practical and so honest and loving, so yeah, it'll be amazing to have her with us live in the conversation. So why would you join this book group? If you're like me, you read a book and most of the time you're reading it, you're thinking, when will I get to the end? I'm like always checking, going, oh, I'm about a third of the way through, great, it's nearly a tick in the box. Oh, I'm about halfway through, great, nearly finished it. It's like I'm spending my time racing to the end of the book just so I can tick it off and say, done, I've read that book. And what I've found with this book group is that because we have a very definite start and finish point, because we know we're going to be reading it over that period of time, that whole idea of having to tick it off the list disappears, because I know it's going to be done. It's got that clear endpoint when the book will be finished. And so then attention can just go on reading the book and enjoying the book. And I've also found it really helps me. Again, maybe this is like you. So I do much better when I've got a group who I can go and talk to something about, or if I'm like yoga or any exercise class, I do better when I know there's somebody there that I'm going to be spending that time with. So yeah, yoga's a classic example for me, where as long as the class is there, great, I'm doing yoga. When the class is not there, yoga does not happen when I'm doing it on my own. And so the group is great for bringing us together and having us go on that journey together, so that we've got people alongside us. We've got a reason to read some of the book each week. As I say, it's not a lot. These chapters are short. It's only a few chapters each week. It's not a big time commitment in terms of what you're reading. And by doing it that way, by slowing it down in that way, that's where the richness comes, because we get into all the nooks and crannies that when you're reading it on your own, the thoughts might come to mind, the questions might come to mind, but what do? You might have a friend that you could message, or you might have somebody you'll talk to, but really I've never seen anything the same as this, coming together as a group, definitely every week, to share and talk about it. So so to me, this coming to the live group makes such a difference. If you know you want to read the book, if you'd love to do it in community with others, if you know and appreciate the power of being in connection with other people in any conversation, but especially when we're reading something so truth pointing as this book I know will be. Now then, what do you get as a book group member? So if you come to the live group, what you get each week is that live call. You also get it recorded, so you get to watch it back, or if there's an occasion when you can't make the live call, of course, then that means you get the recording as well. I also each week share resources that go around the chapter. So it might be quotes, there might be videos, there might be podcasts, but it's all connected to whatever that section's been about that we're reading. So it gives you other angles to explore with. It gives you like a course, really, more than a book group. It gives you something to add into your exploration, which you may do alongside the book, or you may leave till the end and then come back to it. It's up to you. It's very flexible and fluid like that. You'll just do and follow whatever makes sense to you in that respect. So so you get the live call each week, you get the recording, you get the extra resources, and you also get the chance to join the Facebook group. So I have a private Facebook group, and that's for anybody who's worked with me in some capacity. So you also get the chance to join there, which means you get to be in connection and conversation with other people who are in the group, but beyond the group as well, who are interested in the same stuff. So that's the live group. And then the second option is to join as a Patreon member in my membership community. So in Patreon, it's a bit like having a social media feed, but dedicated to my work, to this exploration. I share from myself, but also from other teachers and coaches in this work. I share from the science world and the philosophy world, articles, podcasts, resources. So it's like I say, it's like having a social media feed, but entirely dedicated to this exploration towards the truth. Now, in the Patreon membership, when I run the book group, and as I did for The Greatest Secret, I share in Patreon all the resources that the live group are getting, with the exception of the call, because that's just for the live group. But you get all the other resources that I'm sharing with the Patreon members. Plus, as a Patreon member, you get some exclusive content from me that doesn't go anywhere else. So it doesn't go to the live group even, it doesn't go out in the open world, it's just purely for members. So you may well even want to join the live group and join Patreon, because then it means you get both benefits. And it's all members, all levels of membership in Patreon that get access to this, so you don't need to worry about which level you join. So what the thing that would have you join the Patreon group or Patreon read along rather than the live group is the chance to do it in your own time. So some people have kind of been a bit like, oh, do I want to spend a Thursday evening every week coming to a live group? Not sure. Fair enough. Like, I mean, for those who've joined, they're like, yes, you want to be there. But fair enough, if it doesn't seem like a good use of your Thursday evening as it would be for UK people, then this Patreon option is a brilliant option, because it means you get to read along in your own time. You don't have to follow exactly week by week as we're doing, but you can, if that's going to help you, like I said, for the live group, where you've got a definite plan to work to and an endpoint to work to, then great, yeah, follow along week to week. But equally, you can do it in your own time and just come to it when you want to come to it. equally, if you want to read The Greatest Secret, you get all the resources for The Greatest Secret, which are also in there. So there's loads and loads of benefits to becoming a Patreon member. So let me just recap. You've got option 1 of the live group. We're meeting together for 11 weeks from the 13th of January at 8 PM UK time for an hour. You get a whole bunch of extra stuff way beyond just reading a book. And you get the massive benefit of being in a live group where people who've been before have said it's warm, it's welcoming, it's fun, there's amazing diversity of thought, it's non-judgmental, so you can come and say whatever you want to say about the book or about what you've been experiencing from it. It's so open, and yeah, everything is available, everything is welcome. And it's for anybody. I'd just like to actually add that it's not just for certain types of people. You know, we've got leaders in business, we've got self-employed coaches, we've got retired people. It's really, you know, if you're interested in the book, the live group will be amazing for you. And then second option, Patreon, you get the resources that the live group are getting, just not the live call recording. And you get some extra exclusive resources that are just for Patreon members. So I hope this has been helpful for you to consider what you might want to do, to consider if you want to join the live group or join and read along on Patreon. I just wanted to finish off by sharing some reviews that have been put on Amazon already for Amy's book, which is 5 stars, by the way. It's obviously going down well. So this first one: this book is an invitation to just pause and question the truth of the thinking we experience. It encourages us to be open to possibility, to be open to a life which is far less limited than we had imagined. This next one: I love the way Dr. Amy Johnson writes about this understanding of the mind, how we work, and how knowing how we work gives us such freedom. The stories and examples are so clear, and I had insight after insight. I highly recommend this book. You can read it 100 times and get something different each time. I was curious if that person actually read it 100 times. That would be good. Good going. And this last one: after lifelong investigation and curiosity about who we really are and who we are not, is excellently presented by Dr. Amy Johnson. No to-do lists, but rather a shift in perspective. Life feels freer because I know that's how it really is. Thinking happens, but I see it for what it is. So what I hear in all of those reviews of this book is that it's leading us to more freedom, more possibilities, more joy with life, and without effort, which is kind of like to the point of Amy's subtitle, a no willpower approach to overcome self-doubt and make peace with your mind. So if that sounds good to you, I would really, really love to see you either in the live group or in Patreon. You're so very welcome to either or both. And I look forward to hearing from you. Lots of love.